Welcome to Bay Area Sports Report. My name is Rady, and today we're going to be talking about Day 7 of 49ers training camp. As of right now, 49ers training camp has ended. Today was not a good day. As usual, there are more 49ers injuries! Let me go over here. As defensive end Sam Okuwanu and offensive guard Nick Zakel left practice today after suffering injuries. And that is not all. As Carver Willis has a concussion, Brett Toth are not practicing today. And that isn't everything. Mike Evans, quad, and Dejan Shipley hamstring are not practicing again. Jacob Cowing is not practicing today because of a hip flexor strain. Nick Bosa, Osa Digizua, and Dre Greenlaw will miss practice due to soreness today. But note to self, Dre Greenlaw was out there, so he was by his side, he was right next to Raheem Morris, so that's at least something. So at least he was there at least. So they said that hopefully they could come back tomorrow. I don't think it's this is worrisome. Don't get me wrong. This last injury front, but I don't think it's that worrisome because it's just soreness. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It may be just a teeny bit, but it's just ridiculous, man. Because they had a day off and yet they're not even practicing. This is just ridiculous. So, but I don't think it's this serious, especially when Dre Greenlaw came back from soreness and was out there at least, not practicing, but was at least out there. So I think it's fine overall. I think they should be fine. So I'm not so worried about this one. Kyle Juszczyk is not practicing due to a broken finger, which is this is just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous, man. I'm so mad. But good news is Grayson Halton is back from his knee bone bruise after missing the last 5 practices, which is a good thing, especially because it's kind of especially now that Osa Digizua is now out. So, but this is ridiculous though. You have Mike Evans out, you have Christian Kirk out, you have George Kittle kind of out, Jordan James out, Kalen Black out, Stribling out. You have Ayuk. I mean, sure he doesn't count, but he's still with the Niners, so it still counts. Vidarian Lowe out, Brett Toth out, Carver Willis out. And then for the defensive side, you have Osa out, you have Bosa out, you have White out, you have Michael out, you have Mustafa still out, you have Juszczyk now out. This is ridiculous, man. This is you have Jacob Robinson. Oh wait, I just realized. You have Jacob Robinson out too. This is ridiculous. Overall, this is the most ridiculous thing I've seen. I'm not saying that it's the substation. I'm not saying that, but it's starting to feel like it, okay? This isn't looking good for the 49ers, okay? This is not good. I really think that they should just move, okay? I don't believe in it. I'm not saying I believe in this substation theory thing. I think it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But all I'm saying is it's just best to be safe to just move to a different field, okay? If you could hear me, look, I'm not saying this is the substation there. I believe that you studied it. Trust me, I believe in you guys on it. But I want you to at least try to go to a different field and then see if you get more injuries. If you do, then maybe it's not the substation, and it's actually the training staff you should actually be firing, who you still haven't done at all. I'm talking about you, Dustin. I'm talking about you. But all I'm saying is to just at least move to a different field, because this is the ridiculous thing. As there's an article here, as it says here, 2 years ago, the 49ers canceled joint practice sessions with the Saints because by the time they got them, they had 23 players not participating for injuries. By the end of Wednesday's session, the Niners were without 20 players on their 90-man roster. This is the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen in my entire life. Because, how can you get a broken finger in just practice? That isn't even possible. This is the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen. I haven't seen it this bad since 2020. it's starting to feel like that, and especially since this might be the last year. I mean, they may have like one more year next year, but this is just looking bad. And besides, I don't even think they are going to go after Super Bowl because this might be the last season that John Lynch and Shanahan might be together again. And then after that season, I think they might get fired, especially with the draft picks that are being a bust, the injuries they're not addressing, they're not firing the training staff, they're not moving the field. Like, I don't think permanently, but I'm just saying that they should at least try to move. This is the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen in my entire life. And this is worse than the Warriors, which I don't want to talk. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, Bay Area, like, sports teams are just. I'll get to that later, but moving on, though. When asked whether next week's joint session with the Titans might be in jeopardy, assistant head coach Chris Forrester indicated that hasn't been something that comes across his desk. We have injuries, we have dings and bumps and bruises where guys are missing practices, but it has yet to come up in anything I've heard, Forrester said. It doesn't mean it hasn't been discussed, but that's not come up this week. Like, this is ridiculous. As you know, though, Mike Evans, Christian Kirk, and Dejan Dribbling again set out of Wednesday's practice. The good news is, though, all three did at least some running and conditioning work on the side during the session. So at least they were there. They weren't practicing, but they were at least there. So I'm at least happy on that. At least. Toph, also injured, note to self on that. Halton's legs seemed to help him as he was effective on one-on-one, pass rush drills, and teamwork, which is a good thing. I'm glad that Holland's back and he's looking at least good, so we'll see how long that lasts, though. Niners released Kevin Givens and Cameron Sample on Wednesday to make room for defensive end Ogbo Okonro and Karhel Hodge, which is right here. I mean, they might sign him back, though, Kevin Givens. I don't know. It's a possibility, so we'll have to see on that. He was also... Okonro is not a bad player. I've seen his highlights. He's not a bad player. He had 3 sacks last year, so I won't mind this. I mean, at least he has pressure, so I won't mind that. As for Hodge, I think he's kind of an unknown. He was a Pro Bowl wide receiver, which is kind of surprising. Maybe he's like a punt returner. I don't know. So we'll have to see. So he's an interesting one. It'll have to at least indicate one of these. It might indicate maybe Mike Evans. I don't think it's going to affect Stribling, but maybe. I don't know. It's going to have to come down to these two, especially since they signed him. As for quarterback Brock Purdy, he did very good today, as it shows in the article. It says, quarterback Brock Purdy had a sharp day despite playing musical chairs with wide receivers. In one red zone drill, he accounted for 3 straight touchdowns, finding running back Patrick Taylor and receiver Junior Bergen for scores, before using his legs to score on a design run. He also led a touchdown drive in the move the ball period, which ended on a deep connection with wide receiver Jordan Watkins. Jordan Watkins and Junior Bergen, they were the receivers that were kind of making plays today. Junior Bergen has a chance to maybe be that punt returner with Deebo Samuel, so I wouldn't mind that. I think it's 2 dynamic guys on there, so I wouldn't mind that pairing. I think he's been good. I think he needs to do more route running because he hasn't done that, especially in college. So if he could do that, then I won't mind. As for Christian McCaffrey, he looks like he was one of the best running backs out there. He was doing good so far. I like that he was getting catches from Brock Purdy. He looks like he was one of the best receivers out there, which is not a good thing, especially with the receivers who are out. Trent Williams participated on one-on-ones. He looked pretty good. He surprisingly, for a 37-year-old, he practiced during training camp, especially being a 37-year-old, and especially with that jaw injury earlier, while checking on his head earlier. So it's glad to see him at least being past that for now. I'm saying that because you know what. So, as for Robert Jones, he took over some of the left guard positions. I think they're saying there's a possibility that they're confident in Jones, but I don't think it is. I think it's just like experimenting. I think they want to try Connor Colby. We did that a lot. We did a lot with him. Let's switch to Robert Jones and see what he's got. I think they're just experimenting who could be that starting left guard, and then maybe preseason then they can see okay, we're going to stick with this guy. So I don't think they're saying, oh, we'll stick with Robert Jones, or if they switch to Connor Kobe, like, oh, we'll stick to Connor Kobe. I think this is just experimenting. I think it's just for now. They're just experimenting right now. Tight end Luke Farrell though had a nice day too. Farrell hasn't offered much as a pass catcher in his time with the Niners. He's more that blocker like Charlie Warner, totaling 11 receptions last season, but he and Brock Purdy were in sync Wednesday. The Niners are back at it tomorrow and then have a walk-through set for Friday. That is it for the article. As as for the players that were out there, Nick Bosa, and Osa Digizua and Drake Greenlaw. They are losers mostly because they're injured. Like, this is the most ridiculous thing. Like I said, like, you had a rest day yesterday, and yet somehow you are sore. How could you be sore from a rest day? Like, that isn't even possible. But I don't think like I said, I don't think they're serious. It's just soreness. I don't think it's that much as a serious problem. But it is a little bit of monitoring on, especially with Mike Evans also. So I don't think it's serious. So I think they should be fine. Hopefully they'll be back tomorrow. I'm hoping that Mike Evans, I'm hoping at least Mal Mustafa, Keon White, at least Nick Bosa, Osa Digizua, Dre Greenlaw. I don't know about Vidarian Lowe. Hopefully Kirk, Mike Evans, and Stribling, and maybe Kalen Black. Hopefully all those guys are back tomorrow. I don't think so, but hopefully they are back. And if I see one more injury, I'm gonna keep. I'm just gonna lose it, man. But as for Kyle Juszczyk, he had a broken finger. Hopefully he can at least get better on it. I don't think it's that serious, but it takes at least 2 weeks at least. So he may miss preseason and maybe training camp. I'm not so sure because I think it took 2 weeks at least for one person. So it may take that. So it's not that long, but it's kind of a concern. And the last one is Fred Warner, as he was shown punching the ball out from Christian McCaffrey aggressively. And I gotta say this, I love Fred Warner, but Fred, if you are listening to me, you need to chill, okay, bro? Like, this isn't football. Like, I get it, it's pads and it's looking like football, but this isn't a football game where you could just punch the ball out aggressively. This is your teammate, Christian McCaffrey. Do you realize that there are so many injuries on this team? 20 injuries. Do you really want to add on to that list? Do you really want to do that, Fred? Like, you need to chill. You need to take a chill pill, bro. You need to just take it slow. You need to just... Okay, you can at least tackle, but don't do it aggressively. This is just practice. So that way you can examine and see how you can get better and maybe mentor. This is training camp, guys. This is like the most you need to take this seriously. So you need to take this seriously. You're a captain. You need to not take this you need to not be so aggressive on these. So that's all I'm asking you, okay, Fred? But other than that, as for the Rams will arrive in Australia the day before their Week 1 matchup against the 49ers and depart Melbourne immediately after the game, after the game. San Francisco will arrive a full week earlier, so players and coaches can adjust to the time difference. I think this does make sense. That way you could be I think it's nice that they're ahead and then they could be oh, we're ready. So I think they feel prepared on it. So at least that's good for them. But as for my final segment, my message to the staff, the training staff, or actually message to the John Lynch and the Niners. This is a message to you guys. You guys, like I said, this is the last time I'm going to say it. You guys need to move your players to a different field. I don't care. I don't think it is the practice field. I don't think it is, okay? I don't think it's a substation. I don't think that. I don't believe that. I think it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. But all I'm saying is at least move to a field so you can be okay, how can we... So that way you can show them, oh, how can we prove to them that it's not the substation or something. Like, make the fans happy. Make them at least move the station. At least move your players to a different field just for now for like one practice, and then maybe you could go. And then after that, you guys could just like at least tell. And then if there's not a lot of injuries on that field, then just stay on it because I am kind of concerned, and this isn't about winning games anymore. This is about contending. If you guys want to contend for the Super Bowl, you guys need to at least keep your players healthy and fire the training staff. Like, I don't care. I don't care if you need to find new guys. I don't care about that. I want you guys to at least get new training staff. Like Dustin Little, just he's not good anymore, and neither is other guys. Like whoever is in the training staff, except for the new guys that you hire, fire everyone from there. Okay? Because this is you have like 20 players from your 90-man roster. That's like 70. You have 70 players now on your roster. Like, this is just sad. This is just sad, guys. This is just the most saddest thing I've seen. But anyway, that's it for today. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below on what you think of day 7 of training camp, and comment down below on if you think the Niners should move their field or fire the training staff. Comment down below on what you guys think on that. But this is Bay Area Sports Report, signing off.